The following program is an exclusive presentation of GPTV.
GPTV presents the 2002 GHSA Football Semifinals. Funding for this program is provided in part by IBEW Local 613, Georgia Electric Membership Corporations, South Trust Bank, Dodge, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and by Powerade. Live from the Georgia Dome, it's the GHSA AA football semifinal featuring the Buford Wolves and the Americus Panthers. And hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jim Ginocchio, along with Clark Atlanta football analyst Mark Lassiter. This game features two defending state champions. Buford from Single A last year, Americus from Double A. Going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one, Jim. It's cold and rainy outside. There are hour delays at the airport, but inside the theme might as well be rush hour because both these teams love to run the football. Americus comes in over 3,000 yards on the ground. Buford 2,300 yards. Both teams have 90 touchdowns between the two. Big numbers. Here's the four teams that are left in the playoffs. Of course, Buford and Americus today. Tomorrow we got GAC and Early County. By the way, GAC's only lost against Buford. Early County's only lost against Americus. So an interesting scenario. Buford, here's their numbers on the year. Buford, incredible numbers on offense. They do bring some balance as well on the passing game. And the star player for Buford today to watch, no doubt, number 7, Darius Walker. Darius Walker has the gaudy 9.3-yard average, but the most important feature of his career, he's an honor roll student, straight A's. Earlier we had a chance to talk with Buford head coach Dexter Wood.
Our defense has quite a challenge. I don't know that we've played an offense in maybe my coaching career that has the dimensions of being able to throw plus run the football, being in that shotgun formation. You got to decide if you're going to rush or play the run, and it's just quite a perplexity to prepare for that. However, we've built our defense around stopping the run. We feel like we've got a couple of defensive backs that can play pretty well, but with them, they're so fully dimensional. You've got to cover the whole field, and you've got to prepare for the run and the pass. And I guess our biggest objective would be prevent the big play, make them earn it, make them move the chains, and that's a challenge. Nobody's been able to do that.
Buford's won 28 straight games. Americus, on the other hand, 42-1 since 2000.
It's an incredible record for Americus. They came into Atlanta last night, actually got themselves settled, had about a 3-hour ride. They're ready to play.
All right, we got the numbers on Americus for this season, and there you have them.
Americus coming in. Look at the passing touchdowns. This is where there may be a difference. They have that balance that complements the running game.
And speaking of the running game, the key guy to watch, senior running back Michael Terry.
Michael Terry has 3,000 yards for his career. He's going to be the feature back for this ball club.
Earlier we talked to head coach Eric Saladay.
Offensively, we plan to do what we've done all year, mix it up between the run and the pass, and try to stay pretty balanced. We try to use one to set up the other. Whichever one that we feel like can set the other one up. If they're going to give us a little bit of running, we'll run it. If they're going to give up the pass, we'll try to take the pass. Defensively, we're going to stick with the schemes we've been running. We've tried to mix it up defensively a little bit, between a 4-3 and a 4-4. And we mix up coverages a little bit, but not a whole lot. We don't want to get too confused. I think we might confuse ourselves more than the other teams sometimes, but basically just try to get 11 folks to the football and try to make tackles.
America's coach, Eric Saladay. Now let's go downstairs to our sideline reporter, Anthony White. Hello, Anthony.
Well, hey, guys. Many people view this as being a championship game, even seeing as though both of these teams are the two strongest teams in the Class AA division. Coach Wood feels that the Wolves have to get out and set the tone early and try to shut down the Panthers' high-powered offense. And Coach Saladay feels that in order for them to pull this victory out, they have to shut down the rushing attack and all the speed of the Wolves. Guys, we're in for a good one.
Thanks, Anthony. Two defending state champions coming at you. Buford and Americus. Next on GPTV. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome, the GHSA AA football semifinals. Two defending state champions going at it, Buford and Americus. Mark Lassiter, this can be a fun one.
This will be a fun one. Both coaches come into this game kind of low-key as you get a look down the field at Buford's road to the playoffs.
There's Dexter Wood, and there you see they beat Decatur, Putnam County, and, of course, Pierce County. And Coach was telling me about Pierce that, it really wasn't tough throughout the regular season or early part of the playoffs with the jump to AA, and all of a sudden that competition got a little stiff against Pierce County.
Coach Wood also talked about the fact that there are 4 teams from Gwinnett County in the playoffs, a very unusual feature, but it's really a statement as far as the youth programs that go on in that county.
You think these guys are fired up or what?
They're ready to roll, busting through that curtain. Let's get it teed up and ready to go.
And there you see the defending AA state champions, Americus, and here's how they made it to the Georgia Dome.
You see their road to the playoffs. Coach Eric Soliday commented he never expected this. This was actually supposed to be a rebuilding year for Americus. Quite in a rebuilding year where you're able to go to the semifinals and go undefeated.
You can't beat that. Coach Soliday, I ran into him in the tunnel before the game, and he reminds me of like Lou Holtz, before a game. He says, I'm just so happy to be here.
One of those very low-key coaches. I actually had a chance to talk to his dad yesterday, and his dad was talking about the fact that during game week, Coach Soliday is just an even-keel kind of guy. He's the same during the middle of the week as he is on game day.
All right, so there your teams are on the field, ready to go. There you see Dexter Wood from Buford, and what a record he's had. And that jump from single to AA, everybody thinks that would be a tough jump, but, Dexter and his guys have handled it well.
Well, what they've done is really set up a scheme that they've gotten very comfortable running. Both these teams in common, we talked about it in the opening, Jim, the fact that they like to go run heavy. If there's any difference in the two teams, as you can look at the Americus sideline, is that Americus passing attack may be the difference.
Well, you bet that Coach Soliday is ready for this one. There you see he's seeking his 3rd straight championship. They want to play the championship next weekend at home again. That's their goal.
On both sides of the Georgia Dome, all the fans are standing. We're standing. We're getting ready for kickoff.
Kevin Marks will kick it off for Buford as he tees it up. I love it. The fans are starting to file into the Georgia Dome. The crowds just get bigger and bigger as the day goes on, Mark. Back deep for Americus, number 9, Jermaine Allen, and number 21, Rodney Coley. And here is the kickoff, and we are underway. The AA football semifinals from the Georgia Dome. And Americus will take it 1st and 10. On offense as Torrey Smith had the return and stepped right out of bounds. So here comes that high-powered offense, Mark.
Americus loves to set up the passing game. Expect them to go run heavy early in this ballgame.
Cedric Johnson brings the offense on the field to go to work, and there you see his numbers on the season.
Key factor about Cedric Johnson, he's a 49% passer.
And the sophomore quarterback goes into a shotgun on the first play from scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the 30. Johnson looks right, fires. Intercepted! First play of the game, and it's intercepted.
Buford looking pass all the way. Alfonso Stanley on the pick on the first play from scrimmage. Get a look at the replay. Americus goes to a spread formation, trying to roll to the right side, but the defensive back for Buford right there, nice catch, and brings it back.
Brandon Clark with the big interception. Here it is one more time. Johnson tried to thread the needle, and it did not work. So Buford gets the ball back now. It's 1st and 10 on the 28. Kyle Manley at quarterback. Now the handoff, Darius Walker. He picks up a couple of yards.
Talk about Kyle Manley for a second, Jim. He's 54 out of 97 for the season. 12 touchdowns, 1,009 yards total.
There you see Manley's numbers. What an incredible season for Kyle. And, of course, a junior quarterback, so he gets to play one more year for Dexter Wood.
Kyle Manley actually went to the sideline to get that last play call. You got a shot of him coming back into the huddle.
2nd and 8 for Buford. Just underway from the Georgia Dome. AA football semifinals. Manley under center. And the quick handoff to Alphonso Stanley. And Stanley picks up a few yards and is knocked out of bounds just short of the 20-yard line by number 21, Rodney Coley.
Alphonso Stanley with the 6.1-yard average. They tried to get a little action going to the right side, came back to left, right into your living room. Here's Stanley on the sweep to the outside, picks up about 7 yards.
There's your offensive line for Buford: Brown, Lord, Chandler, White, and Merrow. And here's the rest of the offense: Stanley, Wood, Walker, Henderson, and Merrow. So it's 3rd and 3 for Buford at the 21. Pitch right side, Darius Walker looks it. Quick right side, and has a first down and more. Walker is finally knocked out of bounds at the 7-yard line by number 50, Dustin Wolcott.
The first man that had a shot at him was Torrey Smith at the corner. Missed on the tackle. Walker gets to the outside and picks up a first down deep in America's territory. There's the missed tackle. Watch Walker. A little hesitation step there. Stutter step, gets to the outside.
And now it'll be 1st and goal for the Wolves. There you see Walker's numbers on the air. Very impressive. 36 rushing touchdowns for his career and over 2,700 yards rushing.
He's the eye back.
1st and goal from the 7. Handoff, Stanley. Stanley on his feet, down to about the 1-foot line.
You know, it's interesting. Manley, Stanley, and Walker in that backfield sounds like a law firm. That time they gave it to the up back. Nothing fancy, just right over tackle. They get down to the 1-yard line of Americus.
Good run by Stanley. You know, you don't know who's more dangerous, Stanley or Walker back there.
The trick is that Americus has to defend both. Walker is now the deep man and I. Look how deep he's set up in that formation. Now he inches up towards the line of scrimmage.
2nd and goal for Buford. Manley, handoff. Stanley, touchdown. And Buford is on the board just like that.
Nothing fancy, just straight ahead blocking. Line for Buford, able to clean up. Got a good surge on the right side. They go up top 6-0.
And Kevin Marks will come in the game now for Buford to attempt the extra point. Here's the replay.
You can look at the handoff. Look at that hole inside. I think I could have run through that one, Jim. They just really cleaned out the right tackle on the other side.
Here's Marks to make it 7-0, and he does. So there you have it. Wolves are on the board. A turnover on the first play from scrimmage by Americus leads to a Buford touchdown, and the Wolves lead it 7-0.
Interesting that Americus decided to go with the pass early. Here we get another look at the touchdown from ground level. Really, you see the surge offensive front. Buford really made a statement on that last drive, but credit the excellent field position that allows them to take this early lead.
So now, Mark, what is Coach Soliday saying to his players right now? I mean, obviously a little shaken up over the turnover.
What's interesting in a game like this where you have two teams that are so evenly matched, as you get a look at the scoring drive, the difference sometimes comes down to, Jim, turnovers and special teams. First drive, you see the turnover by Americus leading to the Buford touchdown.
And Stanley with a 1-yard touchdown run to cap it off.
Here's one point where a low-key coach really has an advantage. His team will not panic. Americus will probably stick to what got them here. I look for them to possibly on this next drive try to establish a running game.
Marks to kick it off for Buford. Allen and Coley, the two deep men. It's taking up at the 30-yard line by number 82, Stephen Gordon. And Gordon returns it up near the 45-yard line. So back to work goes the Americus offense.
You hear of kickers out-kicking their coverage. That's clearly a case of a kicker under-kicking his coverage as the up man took the ball, and before Buford had a chance to really get into their lanes, made a gain all the way out, almost to midfield.
And here's the offensive line for Americus. It's Boone, Small, Minter, and White, and then also the center is Clark. We'll have the rest for you in just a moment. 1st and 10 at the 44. Handoff, Michael Terry. and Terry is brought down right away by number 19, Sean Williams.
Although he didn't make the tackle, watch number 32, Zach Smith, the linebacker for Buford, on the surge. If we get the replay on this, Zach Smith is a player to keep an eye on.
There's the rest of the offense. It's Walton, Allen, Terry, Robertson, and Reese. Be second down for Americus. 2nd and 9. Cedric Johnson, your quarterback, in the shotgun. Got a man in motion, and here's your throw, right side, incomplete. Johnson incomplete, intended for Jermaine Allen, number 9.
Excellent job by Sean Strickland. Made a nice break on the ball. The defensive back for Buford has excellent speed.
There's your defense for Buford as they line up the front four. It's Williams, Brown, Chandler, Merrill. We'll have more on those guys in a moment. Smith, Stanley, and Skipper. Your linebackers, and back deep is Strickland, Millsap, Henderson, and Benag. 3rd and 9 for the Panthers at the 45-yard line. Cedric Johnson under center. And the handoff goes up the middle to Michael Terry. And Terry picks up about 8 yards on the play. I think he's going to be short of a first down, though, Mark.
On the last play, Buford had 4 down linemen, but an unusually large split between the right end where Sean Williams was lined up to the near side. They just ran inside the gap and picked up considerable yardage, but it brings up a 4th and short.
Big play of the game right now. 4th and 1 for Americus. Johnson might be calling an audible at the line. And now I believe it's too much time.
You may have motion down on the field. Big number 77 for Americus jumped offside. That was Cedric Boone, a player who he may call the name a few times today.
There's your officials for today's game. Referee Gene McLeod. Umpire is Cardell Collins. Linesman Spencer Smith.
Over the offense, 5 yards, 4th down.
Good officiating crew for today's ball game. There you see Coach Soliday on the sidelines. So a 4th and would be probably 6. 4th and 6 for Americus. 2-step drop by Johnson, fires right side, incomplete, and Buford will take over on downs.
Tried to hit Eddie Robertson on a quick out.
Tried to get, Eddie Robertson on the right side there.
Just a 3-step drop. Robertson was turning, facing his quarterback. Excellent coverage once again by the Buford defensive backfield. Brings up the exchange of downs, and they'll take over with excellent field position to start this next drive. Buford, for the 2nd consecutive possession, Jim, will have a drive start inside of America's territory.
And they'll begin it at the 48-yard line. That's where Kyle Manley takes over. 1st and 10 for Buford. Manley, handoff to Zach Smith. His first carry of the afternoon.
What's interesting about the strategy between the two schools, Americus is loading up their defensive line with 1 extra player, unlike Buford that was happy to go with a 4-man front. They're going to sneak those linebackers up to the line of scrimmage and try to get a stop on this Buford running game.
You see the Americas front four, Reese, Small, Boone, and Thomas. Boone big at 6'3", 315. Then you got Moses, Wolcott, and Moses. And those are 2 sets of twins, Robertson, Coley, and Smith. Is the remaining defense for Americas. Okay, here we go. 2nd and 9 for Buford. At the 47, Kyle Manley, your quarterback. And we have a whistle before the snap.
Talking about Kyle Manley for a second as we get the call. Delay of game. Manley's thrown 12 touchdown passes with only 4 interceptions. That's quite a good ratio to have as a quarterback.
Coach Wood giving the play to Manley on the sidelines.
He's going to get a little tired going back and forth between the sideline and the huddle, getting that play directly from his coach. But he's back in the huddle now.
As long as he's at that right hash mark, it's a short distance to go to the sidelines. So here we go, 2nd and 14 now for Buford. Manley, handoff, straight up the middle. Zach Smith powers his way down to the 45-yard line.
What's interesting about the offensive front for Buford, Jim, they really didn't get a lot of control of the forward wall, but they really got enough body on body that allowed for that surge, brings up a 3rd and long call. They don't have to dominate to make effective blocks.
And you'll see the stop right here by a number of guys led by number 22, Jonathan Reese. 3rd and 7 at the 45. Manley, 2-step drop, fires right side, got him in. That's Michael Henderson. Good play by Michael Henderson. Mark, it looks like they might be short on this play. Here's the replay.
Looks like we'll come about a foot short as we look at the completion. Ball looked as it may have been tipped, but an excellent tackle by Americus on the far sideline. They're going into punt formation.
So a 4th and short, and the Wolves decide to kick it away. This is Brian Deskins to kick it away, and we have a stop and play.
Curious contrast between the two coaches. On a 4th and short, Buford decides to punt inside of Americus territory, where on the other hand, Americus decided to go for it on a 4th and long on the previous series.
So Dexter Ward is the one that calls the timeout for Buford.
Again, it's interesting that the strategies of the two coaches in terms of line play going against run-heavy offenses, Americus decides to load up the defensive line. It made an excellent stop on that last series.
Quick note, don't forget you can become a member of Georgia Public Television today just by visiting our website, www.gpb.org. It's totally secure, simple to use, and it just takes 2 minutes of your time. Show your support of high school sports programming on GPTV by visiting www.gpb.org. And thanks for your support of GPTV. And what a great vehicle it is, Mark, to bring these games on GPTV because it's shown statewide.
This is really a football festival. 5 games, 2 days in a row.
Yeah, if you don't like football, this is definitely not the place to be. All right, here we go. 4th and 1, and Buford decides to go for it. Here's Kyle Manley at the 38. Handoff up the middle. And Alfonso Stanley, and he's stopped cold.
I don't think he has it. Excellent tackle inside by Americus linebacker Derek Walcott was the first man there. Just stood the runner up, stopped him for no gain, and I think Americus is going to take over on downs.
Stanley at 5'9", 200. Walcott at 6'3", 190.
Look at that linebacker. He's got the neck brace working. His shirt is out already. He made the tackle. Goes back to the sideline to get congratulations from the entire sideline.
What a defensive play by the Americus defense. So the Panthers will take over on offense. 1st and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Get this feeling this field is lopsided, Mark. We're only on one side of the dome here. Oh, and thrown for a loss in the backfield is Michael Terry on 1st down. Great defensive play by the Buford defense led by Merrow, number 33.
Buford is using an interesting strategy, Jim. They're using their forward line to really neutralize the offensive line of Americus and allow their linebackers to clean up on the tackles. Here's we can look at the replay. You see that little traffic jam inside. Here come the linebackers.
So it'll be 2nd down for Americus. They're already trailing 7-0 as we come up on the 5-minute mark. 2nd and 16. Johnson fires left side, almost intercepted by number 20, Yvonne Banag.
Cedric Johnson had his man at the 45-yard line. Excellent throw as you see him in the shotgun formation between 2 backs. Goes back, 3-step drop, delivers the ball, and right there, almost intercepted. Excellent attempt by the Buford defensive back who slams the turf in disgust. Not being able to come away with it, Benet.
All right, 3rd and 16 for Americus, and Johnson is in the shotgun again. Johnson looks, now runs upfield, Johnson tries to get away, still does now. Fumble on the play, but they say he's ruled down at the 42, make that the 38-yard line.
Cedric Johnson did an excellent job that time of stepping inside the rush of Thor Merrill, who had the contained responsibility. Thor Merrill, if I'm not mistaken, is the son of Jeff Merrill, one of the former Atlanta Falcons. But the quarterback does not pick the first down. They're forced to punt.
So on fourth down, Stephen Gordon will punt it away for Americus. High end over end kick, hits at the 30 and then takes a great Americus bounce. And this one's going to be spotted down at the 11-yard line. Nice kick by Stephen Gordon.
First man downfield to cover for Americus. Jamison Felton did an excellent job. And now Buford, for the first time in this ball game, Jim, starts a drive with poor field position.
That goes as a 52-yard punt. Excellent punt. And there you see Manley coming back in the game as that offense goes back to work.
Look for Buford to keep it on the ground on this series.
Here's Manley. And the handoff straight up the middle. That's Darius Walker. He picks up a couple of yards.
You know, one of the things that is a challenge for schools that are playing on turf rarely during the season is footing. And I notice a lot of players seem to be overrunning tackles. What AstroTurf has a tendency to do is get you such good traction that you turn out to be a little bit faster than you're normally able to break down and make a tackle at. So you see players early in this game just overrunning plays. They may just have to settle down just a bit.
You think if we had a chance to run on that stuff, we'd look fast?
Oh, I'd do a 4-4 here easy.
Second and 8, Manley of the pitch. Darius Walker goes right side, tries to turn the corner. He's at the 20 and up to the 24-yard line. Good run by Darius Walker.
Well, that's the flip side of playing on turf. You give it to one of those scat backs that likes to make the quick cut. Darius Walker gets to the outside and picks up the first down.
And a great stop on the play by Dustin Wolcott and Charles Smith, but look at Walker go.
We talked about his numbers at the top, Jim. 9.3-yard average, just sheds a tackle, gets the inside, doesn't go out of bounds, it takes on two players, lowers his shoulder, and keeps driving upfield.
You hear us mentioning the name Wolcott a lot throughout the afternoons because there's two of them. Derek wears number 51, Dustin 50. They are twins, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. All right, first and 10 for Buford at the 24-yard line. Kyle Manley, your quarterback. He stands 6'2", 170. Manley looks and hands off to Darius Walker on the draw play.
One of the toughest things for a running back is to exhibit the patience, take that stutter step, pause, taking the draw, allowing the hole to open up. Walker that time showed the patience, takes the handoff, and picks up about 5.
And he was stopped on the play by the Wolcott brothers and also Chad Moses and Chan Moses, and yes, they are twins. More on them later. Here we go, Buford with the ball at the 29. On a second and 5, and a handoff to Zach Smith. And he powers his way over the right side of the line. He followed big number 57, Drew White. And a stop by number 77, Cedric Boone.
Buford is using Thor Merrill in their offensive formation, Jim, as a spy blocker. They send him in motion. That time, went in motion in one direction, came back to the left just as the ball was being snapped.
There you see Smith's numbers on the season, a good year. Averaging 7.2 a carry. I'd give him the ball every time. Manley on 3rd and 4. Big play for the Wolves. Manley pitch Darius Walker, and he's stopped in the backfield by number 50, Dustin Wolcott. What a play by Wolcott.
What happened for Buford where that play broke down? They just weren't able to get a block on the corner. Excellent surge by Americus. At the point of attack, they were able to dominate, force a punt.
Rodney Cole back to receive the punt from Brian Deskins of Buford. And this one hits the turf and bounces towards the sidelines, and it's going to be marked down right around the 32-yard line. That's where Americus will have it, 1st and 10.
You just said the magic word once again. You said turf. And the Atlanta Falcons a few weeks ago had some trouble with this very same turf. they put some cleaning fluid that was mistakenly unrinsed off, and they had a lot of traction problems. So far during this game, hasn't been a lot of slipping and sliding, but that's something that's been a problem in the Georgia Dome recently.
Two teams that have been here, this is their third straight year, both for Coach Holliday there and for Dexter Wood. All right, here we go. 1st and 10 for Americus at the 32-yard line. Your quarterback is Cedric Johnson, just a sophomore, stands 5'10", 170. Johnson, handoff to Michael Terry. Terry looks to break a tackle. He's brought down by number 20, Yvonne Banag.
Nothing like the old T formation. Johnson takes the handoff, and Terry, who's standing to his right, takes the inside handoff for about 3 or 4 yards.
Terry had an incredible year, scored 31 touchdowns. Here he is again.
You look at the ground level shot of that inside handoff. Excellent tackle by Buford.
And an excellent television crew. We got cameras everywhere, and they're right on top of it as usual. 2nd and 5. Cedric Johnson in the shotgun. And it's a quarterback draw. Johnson trying to break the tackle. Gets up to about the 41-yard line. And the stop made by number 33, Thor Merrow.
Thor Merrow got there for the stop, Jim, and actually had more of the ball than he had of the body. You're going to look at the handoff. Now watch Thor Merrow come and catch the ball right here. Take the quarterback down.
It's at the 41-yard line. That means a 3rd and 1 for Americus. Johnson, handoff, Michael Terry, and he's got the first down for the Panthers.
Tough running inside by Terry in traffic. Looks like he has the first down by about a yard. There wasn't really that much space, but Terry was able to get his pads turned just enough to get upfield.
We mentioned earlier the Panthers are going for a three-peat, and it's funny, you know, you got the Panthers down south. The Panthers down south is known as Americus. The Panthers up north are known as Parkview, and they're also going for a three-peat later on. So it's just one of those years for the Panthers. Americus has the ball at the 44, and this is it. That's the end of the first quarter. Buford leads it over Americus 7-0. We'll have more football action for you after this. Welcome back, everybody. Start of the second quarter between Buford and Americus. Jim Ginocchio along with Mark Lassiter. And Mark, so far it's everything we expected.
We expected a close game. The only difference, the one early turnover.
And Americus has it at their own 44-yard line, a 1st and 10 for quarterback Cedric Johnson. Man in motion is Eddie Robinson. One step drop, fires right side, looks for Robinson, goes Johnson, incomplete.
Johnson tried to take a short drop and throw the deep fade all the way down to the 30-yard line. Ball seemed to be pretty close to being on target, but excellent coverage by Buford. Their defensive backs really have been the difference in this ball game as we look at the deep fade to the sideline and the position of the defensive back.
And that's Brandon Clark, great defensive play, and my mistake on the wide receiver. That was Stephen Gordon, the intended receiver for Americus. There you see your total yards on the game so far. Buford with 58, Americus with 21. 2nd and 10 from the 44. Handoff, right side. That's Michael Terry. And he picks up a few yards for the Panthers. Michael Terry stands 5'10", 205.
One thing you'd love to see is players throwing blocks downfield. William Clark, big number 70 for Americus, was about 7 yards ahead of that play, getting downfield. As you get a look at that offensive line, those are the guys that do all the work.
Guys in the trenches. Here you see the play again. Good play by the defense in stopping Michael Terry.
They're going to bring it back, however.
Here's the referee, Gene McLeod.
So the motion penalty on Americus will give them a 2nd and long. Be curious to see when Americus tries to get to the sideline once again and try to use their speed.
2nd and 15, Johnson in the shotgun. Johnson drops back, rolls right, fires right side. Incomplete. Intended for Michael Terry.
One of the most difficult things for a quarterback rolling, Jim, is to get his footwork together. That time, Cedric Johnson had a receiver short, just simply overthrew him. Sometimes that anxiety kicks in a little bit also. Johnson has yet to really get into a rhythm with his receivers. He's been close a few times, but just a hair off target.
Here it is again. I think it's a little bit of the excitement, right, playing at the Dome?
You've got a lot of factors working against you. You got the Dome, you've got the turf, you've got receivers that are running a little bit different patterns because of the speed factor.
Buford in their nickel defense against Johnson and the Panthers on 3rd and 15. Johnson to the shotgun. Quarterback draw. Here goes Johnson. 45 and up to the 48-yard line. Stopped by number 9, Blake Skipper. Good play by Skipper.
Johnson makes up the penalty and tacks on an additional 4 yards, which brings up another 4th and long call for Americus.
So the special teams from both schools head out there. Americus to punt it away. It's Stephen Gordon, number 82, to do the punting for Americus. And back deep for Buford is number 16, Michael Henderson. Gordon barely gets it off. Escaped the block by the Buford defender, and looks like the Wolves will take it over 1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line. Ashley Griffin almost came up with the block on the Stephen Gordon punt. Here it is.
Griffin had excellent penetration, Jim, as you mentioned, but just didn't take the right angle. Seemed to just overrun the punt that time. Coaches teach players to be at the point in front of the point of impact. And that time, Griffin just seemed to overrun the last punt.
So 1st and 10 for Buford at their own 21-yard line. They lead it 7-0 here in the second quarter. Kyle Manley under center. Manley drops back and is hit from behind. What a defensive play by big number 43, Chad Moses, the linebacker from Americus.
Americus trying to go into their bag of tricks that time. Just sent Moses on the blitz from the outside. No one there to pick him up. He just cleans up. You hate that as a quarterback. You see a linebacker bearing down on you. You're not even set to throw. And here he comes. And all you can do is take the punishment.
So a 2nd and 17 now for Buford. And here's Manley. Handoff straight up the middle is Darius Walker, and Walker gets some yards back on that play.
Jim, a player we haven't called the name of a lot on defense for Americus, number 77, Cedric Boone, who happens to bench press 500 pounds. He's a player they expected to be dominant up front. And Americus, if its defense is to turn offensive to get some kind of rhythm in this game, they're going to depend on Boone.
Great defensive play by number 50, Dustin Wolcott, to stop Darius Walker. There you see his numbers on the day already. 7 rushes for 42 yards. 3rd and 9 for Buford. And we have a stoppage in play.
Cedric Boone, the player we just talked about, Jim, is lined up at nose tackle, right over center. Got a motion penalty against Buford. So it seems that both teams are starting to break down just a bit on offense.
There you see Coach Soliday on the sidelines. And let's go downstairs to Anthony White. Anthony.
Well, guys, I just found out that this is the second time that America's only trailed all season long. The only time was to Early County. And so that interception and that touchdown was a shocker. It's interesting to see how the Panthers are going to get their feet up underneath of them.
Good point, Anthony. Not used to trailing during the season, that's for sure. Manley fires left side, and the pass is caught. Nice play by Ryan Wood. That is Dexter Wood's son, number 80.
Excellent concentration on the tip ball that Wood turns, has enough balance to catch and turn, pick up the first down, a huge first down for Buford.
Here's the play again. Good concentration by Ryan Wood.
Play on the defensive back for Americus, who was right on the spot, Rodney Coley. got a hand on the ball, did everything right, but knocked the ball down.
There you see Ryan's numbers out of the season. 1st and 10 for Buford at the 37. And the handoff to Darius Walker. And Walker runs left side, and he's stopped by number 50, Dustin Wolcott.
It's curious how coaches will change philosophy. Jim, that time, Americus ran from a very tight formation, trying to get a surge on their forward wall of Buford. Not much doing, as it was only a 3-yard gain.
So a 2nd and 7 coming up for Buford. There you see Coach Soliday on the sidelines. Here's Manley, the quarterback. In motion was Michael Henderson, and the handoff goes to Alfonso Stanley. And Stanley is pretty much stopped cold by number 77, Cedric Boone, and also number 51, Derek Wolcott. Watch this hit.
There's that man. Cedric Boone got low that time, made the surge, and makes the hit. Nothing doing once Boone gets a hand on you, wraps up. We talked about that bench press, but he's also 6'4" and 350 pounds.
Well, there you go. There's your 3rd down conversions on the day. Buford 1 of 2, Americus 1 of 4. The pitch, left side, Darius Walker. Walker gets out to about the 47-yard line, stopped by number 50, Dustin Wolcott.
And fortunate, if not for that last tackle by Walcott, Walker may have been off to the races as he was nearing the far sideline at midfield. Watch the tackle. Walker splits the 2 defenders here. There's only one man, and that's number 21 for Americus, Rodney Coley. Between him and the touchdown and the end zone.
And as you can see, we're going to do a measurement here to see if we've got a 1st down for Buford, and they're that short. Wow. Okay, Mark Lassiter, what do you do?
I go to Walker. It's a 4th and about 3 inches. You've got decent field position, so if you punt it away, you may not gain that much. You're also playing with a lead. Okay, can I change my mind on that one?
Well, they're sending Manley back in.
You want to play safe? Play for the punt. You want to dominate this game and send a message? You go for it.
And it looks like they are going to go for it.
They've got a 7-0 lead. Halfway through the 2nd quarter. This, let's mark it down, Jim, is the first big play of the game.
So there you see it, a 4th and short at the 47-yard line. Kyle Manley, your quarterback. And Manley calls timeout.
May have been trying to go with a bit of a long count to see if they could draw the defense offside, or they could be going to the sideline to check the defensive lineman and get another play call. You take either column A or column B.
There you go. 2 defending state champions. Buford, of course, was the single A defending state champion, and Americus the double A state champion. I'd like to tell you today's game can also be viewed live on the GPTV internet site at www.gpb.org. Just follow the links to connect to the game, and all the games will be archived and available on the GPB website as well. Check the links on the website for the dates, the games that will be available. That's www.gpb.org. It's easy to find and easy to use. And you could bet fans like those right there will be watching this thing on the internet every chance they get, because there's not many times a team gets a chance to play at the Georgia Dome.
Buford has a change of heart. They decide to punt.
So there you have it. Ryan Deskins to punt for Buford. And a fair catch is called by number 21, Rodney Coley of Americus.
Coach Dexter Wood goes with the safe call, playing with the lead. Decides to punt on 4th down. Even though he had excellent field position, you don't want to turn the ball over to the opponent that close to midfield. So they will put it back on their defense, Buford that is, to hold Americus on this end of the field.
So there you see Cedric Johnson and the rest of the offense coming back on the field to go to work.
I haven't mentioned his name a lot this afternoon so far, Jim, but Jermaine Allen is one of Johnson's favorite targets. Comes to this game with 48 receptions and 1,200 yards.
1st and 10, Americus at the 23. Johnson, handoff left side. That's Michael Terry. And good defensive play by the Buford defense led by Jakir Millsap and number 9, Blake Skipper.
Buford did an excellent job of stringing out the play at the point of attack. They had defender on blocker. The play was designed to come to the near side. Americus just couldn't get a mismatch on offense. They stopped that play for a very short game.
Second down from the 29, or make that the 24-yard line for Americus. 3 wideouts, 2 to the right, 1 to the left on 2nd and 9. Johnson, quarterback draw. Johnson, 30. Actually stopped cold at the 29 by Jakir Millsap. Another big play by number 3.
Another flag on the play as well. We may have something along the lines of a hold or a motion as we are going to sort this one out. Buford also, this game, Jim, has been going with 5 defensive backs, also known as the nickel formation, and they've been very successful with it as we get the play call on the penalty.
Great stop by Millsap.
Officials sorting this one out right at the 30-yard line. Buford has the choice to accept it. It seems that they will take this last penalty. That will negate the play.
As you see, just over 6 minutes to go till halftime. And of course, at the half, we'll have both bands on the field.
I love halftime. Got a hold on Americus. So now they're deeper, starting this next play from their own 16.
So a 2nd and 17 from their own 16-yard line. Johnson in the shotgun. Johnson looks left, fires, has a man, incomplete, intended for Jermaine Allen, number 9. That's his favorite receiver, as you mentioned earlier, Mark.
Allen really should make this catch. He's breaking down at about the 20-yard line. Look at his face. He knows he should have caught that one. Short one-step drop out of the shotgun. Here's the pass right there. May have caught out of the corner of his eye. Sean Strickland of Buford bearing down on him.
Well said. Sean Strickland was ready to go on that play. 3rd and 17 at the 16. And Johnson is in the shotgun again. There you see 2 wideouts, both left and right side. And pass over the middle, incomplete to Eddie Robertson.
Cedric Johnson's got to be kicking himself saying, what do I have to do to complete a pass? I can't throw it any better. I have guys open, I'm putting it on their hands, and they're just not making the catches. So once again, Americus, through no fault of its quarterback, not able to get a drive start, and they'll go into punt formation.
And of course, your punter is number 82, Stephen Gordon, for Americus.
And if you're head coach Eric Soliday, you tell your quarterback, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change a thing. They'll start catching it sooner or later.
Back deep for Buford, number 16, Michael Henderson, to receive about the 45-yard line of Americus. This is off the side of his foot, and the officials are going to mark this one somewhere around the 32-yard line.
Credit the surge by Buford. Once again, special teams making the difference. They got a rush on the punter. He rushed the kick and really straight to the Buford sideline, and they'll have tremendous field position on this next drive.
Mark your calendar for Friday night, January 31st, for the return of Georgia's longest-running high school sports and academics program, Prep Sports Plus. You'll meet some of Georgia's most successful student-athletes, athletic programs, and much more. That's Prep Sports Plus, returning on Friday, January 31st, exclusively on GPTV. And I'll tell you what, Mark, we have a lot of fun on that one. First down for Buford at the 25-yard line. Manley hits right side, Darius Walker. Walker to the 20. Walker to the 15, the 10. It's down, tackled down near the 7-yard line by number 34, Eddie Robertson.
That's the good news for Buford. The bad news is we're going to bring it all back because there's a flag back at the 23-yard line. A perfect opportunity for Buford. I almost expected Coach Dexter Wood to tell his son Ryan to go deep. We're going to take this one into the end zone. But we're going to bring the whole thing back as you get a look at the replay from ground level. An excellent pickup on that first down, but it's going to come back.
So Buford marching backwards And it looks like it's going to be brought back to about the 29-yard line.
If there's any theme to this game in the first half, Jim, it's the game of field position, the game within a game that Buford has won so far. First on the interception that they set up their touchdown with, and now on the poor punt that was really set up by their special teams play. They really have a chance now. 5:47 to go in the half. If they score here and go up 14-0, give something for America to think about in the locker room.
And there are your penalties. Both teams have 3 of them. So here's Buford at the 29-yard line. Manley on 1st and 15. Drops back, handoff. Darius Walker straight up. There he goes. 15.
Bye-bye.
10, 5, and touchdown, Darius Walker.
Bye-bye. Darius Walker takes the inside handoff. No one home. He goes all the way in and through the end zone for the score.
A little celebration going on.
Darius Walker goes into the end zone for Buford. They take a 13-0 lead.
Kevin Marks is on the field now for Buford to attempt the extra point.
I like the little "how you like me now" at the end of the touchdown.
And the kick sneaks through the uprights. And Buford takes a 14-0 lead over Americus. And you know, Anthony White brought up a very good point. Americus is not used to trailing.
We talked about Darius Walker at the top. Look at the skills. Look at the speed. He's an A student. He gets to the corner, and he gets the score.
You're right. Low angle from the end zone.
Coming at you. You can see the linesman have to hop out of the way. Darius Walker hit the hole so quick that linesman took a quick hop step to get out of his way. Next thing you do, he looks up. He's in the end zone. Here's the celebration. Darius Walker goes all the way to the stands looking for his other players.
Brian Deskins will kick it off again for Buford. There you see some of the happy Buford fans. Made the trip south to downtown Atlanta.
They're called the Wolves. How come that sign says Gator?
There's your scoring drive. 2 plays, 25 yards. Let's go downstairs. Anthony White.
Well, you know what, guys? Coach Wood has to be in excellent shape the way he's pacing up and down these sidelines. He hasn't stopped moving. But after that touchdown, he was cool, calm as a whistle. Like, I've been here before.
I hear you, buddy. Rodney Coley on the return, and we got a flag on the play.
America's trying to get something generated on special teams. We'll sort this one out as the flag, as you mentioned, Jim, was thrown right at the 33-yard line. Kind of an odd spot on the field because you couldn't see anyone with any kind of a hold on that. It was kind of open at that point, and it will be a hold on Americus. Coach Eric Soliday got to be telling his team at this point, just settle down and play football. They've had what they've wanted on offense. They've been running a spread formation trying to get the receivers open. They've got guys open, just haven't been able to hook up. 5:20 to go in the first half. We'll be curious to see if they try to mount a drive that keeps the clock in mind and go downfield via the pass.
Good point. They start at their own 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Quarterback Cedric Johnson, just a sophomore. And somebody jumped off sides. Looked like number 67, Mackenzie Minner from Americus.
That's just a sign of anxiety. Everyone wants to do right. Offensive lineman comes out of his stance about a snap count too early. Americus, once again, hurting themselves on offense. It's really, in a lot of these cases, Jim, not a case of Buford overplaying, playing better on defense. Americus is simply not executing.
So they move it back to the 17-yard line, so it'll be a 1st and 15 now. Good shot at Johnson at quarterback. Johnson on the keeper on the option play, runs left side, in traffic, and brought down. Good defensive play by number 32, Zach Smith. And there's a flag on the play.
And if there's been one difference for Buford on defense, it's been the pursuit. You talk about coaches getting 11 hats to the ball. Once Buford sees where the ball is, you can see the entire surge of their defensive team get to the ball. There'll be another flag. Looks like it will come up against Americus, and their offense retreats for the second play in a row.
Here's the replay. Johnson trying.
Got a hold that will actually be declined by Buford. America still inside its own 15-yard line.
And that brings up a 2nd and 15 for the Panthers. Johnson drops back again into the shotgun as we hit 5 minutes to go here in the first half. Johnson looks long, has a man, double teamed, and it's incomplete, intended for Eddie Robertson. On defense, Michael Henderson, number 16, and number 1, Sean Strickland.
Actually, Americus was fortunate on that last toss. Very accurate spiral, but the closest player to it was Buford's Michael Henderson, as you mentioned, Jim. Had coverage deep downfield at about the 4-yard line, turning, trying to make an over-the-shoulder interception.
We are at the Georgia Dome, live for the AA semifinal, and there's the crew bringing it to you. Myself, Jim Ginocchio, Mark Lassiter, and Anthony White down on the sidelines. 14-0 Buford, second quarter. Johnson looks right side, has a man, ball popped in the air, intercepted by number 32, Zach Smith. Smith brought down near the 19-yard line by big number 74. That's Walker on the tackle. And Buford will take over again on first down.
Credit Jakira Millsap as the player that made the tip. Caused the ball to be popped up in the air about 20 yards. Buford had enough defensive backs. They've been going with that nickel backfield. They really had a choice of who wanted to pull that ball down and intercept it. Watch the tip and how long it stays up there. Okay, I got it. You got it. No, you take it. And they come back with the interception. About a 10-yard return, neck-tied, but Buford in great field position.
First down, the pitch goes to Darius Walker, and Walker goes left side, runs into a lot of America's players near the 20-yard line.
Clock continues to run. We're inside of 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Buford has plenty of time to really do what it's been doing on offense. Darius Walker done an excellent job running the show.
Good defensive play led by Jonathan Reese, number 22. For Americas. 2nd and 11 for Buford as they look to score another quick one before the half. That's Kyle Manley, your quarterback. Good shot, Kyle. Then in motion is Ryan Wood. Fake handoff to Walker. Manley rolls right, has a man. That's Alfonso Stanley. And Stanley is brought down by number 34, Eddie Robertson.
Nothing fancy, just a roll and completion to the near side. I was giving an extra long look downfield as Tim Moore got in a hit on the quarterback of Buford, and the official gave him one of those long looks to see if he was going to throw the flag. He didn't decide to throw it, but that was an intentional and a very crushing hit on the quarterback.
3rd and 4 for Buford, and now we have a stoppage in play. And Buford calls a timeout. So Dexter Wood wants to call the offense over to talk about it. And so while Dexter Wood is on the sideline with his team, we talked earlier about what he likes coaching with Buford.
Watching kids believe in each other, grab onto each other, the family atmosphere, the intangible rewards that I feel like the experience gives them, not only now but later in life. I think they'll realize that you can grab onto each other and shoot for a goal, and you're going to get knocked down, but you can get back up. Just a lot of life lessons, and seeing kids grow through that experience. That's the greatest thrill I have in all of it.
Dexter Wood of Buford, and why he loves to coach those kids at Buford.
It also doesn't hurt if you win your first 2 playoff games by a combined score of 75-0.
You know what's amazing, too? You know, you think a football coach like this, he keeps a busy schedule, et cetera, et cetera. Do you know he also coached Little League Baseball for a number of years? I mean, just loves kids any age.
Just talks about the involvement of communities, and this is where it shows.
That's exactly right. So here's a 3rd and 4 for the Wolves. Kyle Manley calling the signals at the line of scrimmage. Ryan Wood in motion. Manley pitches left side, Darius Walker. Walker looks for an opening. Has an opening. Down to the 5 and then inside the 3-yard line. Stopped by number 21, Rodney Cole. Rodney Coley, that is. Rodney Coley.
As it is with most successful running plays, you'll see a wide receiver throwing a block downfield. See if you can catch a peek at number 6, Brendan Klopp, throwing a block on the sideline right there to set up the run, and the extra 4 or 5 yards he tacks on to the end of that run. I love when wide receivers block.
Oh, yeah. So does Darius Walker. Look at his numbers on the day. 1st and goal for Buford. They mark it at the 2-yard line. Handoff up the middle. Alfonso Stanley, touchdown. So Stanley scores his 2nd touchdown of the day. And it's 20-0 Buford.
Stanley, he of the 6.1-yard average, nothing fancy, just off tackle, tips into the end zone. You look up and Buford is up 20-0, a shocking score to say the least in the first half.
Kevin Marks on to attempt the extra point. Marks' kick is up, and it's good. So with 3:08 to go till halftime, it's Buford 21 and Americus nothing. And those fans are excited to say the least. There's the replay.
It's a ground level look. There was one shot at him, and that shot was in the end zone of the running back,
Alfonso Stanley.
If someone told you at the kickoff of this game, Jim, that this would be 21-0 with 3 minutes to go in the half, what would you have said?
There's your scoring drive. Buford 4 plays, 19 yards, only ate up a minute 32 on the clock. And of course, Stanley closes it out with a 2-yard touchdown run. Brian Deskins set to tee it up.
Interesting difference in body language. Buford out there are all ready to line up. Americus kind of jogs out on the field to get in position. They're really not playing aggressively, not thinking aggressively, at least by that body language.
Back deep for Americus, as you see on your TV screen, Rodney Coley. And this is a short kick.
Oh, that may be recovered.
The 38-yard line.
That may be
Buford
Buford's
says
ball.
they have the ball.
There were actually 2 players from Americus that had a shot at it. The last player from Buford comes in and makes the recovery.
Are these guys fired up or what?
Americus, you talk about how they're walking around. They're just in a state of shock at this point, Jim. They had 2 players on that last kickoff, and they just fumbled it, mishandled it. Buford, aggressive, comes in, gets a helmet inside that hit. Watch the first player for Americus try to grab it. The second player knocks him off the ball. The 3rd player in from Buford makes the recovery.
And it looked like number 10, Kyler Case, came up with the fumble recovery. 1st and 10 for Buford, and they have a chance to score again before the end of the half. And we got a flag on the play.
If I'm head coach Dexter Wood of Buford, I'm going up top right here. 5-yard penalty against Americus. So just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it gets worse.
There's your turnovers, and they have played a major story in today's game. All right, here we go from the 34-yard line. 1st and 5 now for Buford. Manley, 2-step drop. Up fakes, then fires down right side, has a man. Incomplete, intended for number 16, Michael Henderson, and a good defensive play by number 34, Eddie Robertson.
As you mentioned, Eddie Robertson turned on that last play that seemed to hang up as the ball was delivered, gave Robertson enough time to recover and make a play on this ball that he might have had a shot at intercepting. The ball fake inside, and as we thought, Buford may go deep. Robertson with the play.
Good call, Mark Lassiter. So 2nd and 5 at the 34.
Challenge for Americus on defense.
Manley, handoff up the middle. That's Darius Walker. Walker still on his feet.
Just driving, plowing, taking 4 or 5 guys with him downfield. Darius Walker.
And half the student body for Americas was all over Darius Walker. Dustin Wolcott was among a bunch of them.
Darius Walker has that look. That's that look that says, okay, you got me, I want some more. Inside.
What a block by 56 there. Look at that. Nice play by the offensive lineman for Buford, Trey Chandler. There you see him. He's already committed to UGA as an offensive tackle. He's the big senior. Manley, handoff up the middle. That's Zach Smith. Zach breaks a couple of tackles and gets outside to about the 18-yard line.
You mentioned Trey Chandler, already committed to UGA. He benches 300 pounds. He's made 73 tackles also on defense. One of those players that goes both ways. That's a recurring theme we'll see a lot this afternoon, Jim. Players that play on offense and defense.
6'6", 260. Incredible, Trey Chandler.
A mere baby.
Total yards, well, that pretty much tells the story right there, doesn't it? Buford, 2nd and 8. At the 19-yard line, the pitch, Darius Walker. Walker runs into a crowd of America's players and is brought down right about the line of scrimmage. Stopped by number 51, Derek Wolcott.
If you're head coach Eric Soliday of Americas, what you try to do now, Jim, is really appeal to your defense. Play with pride. A minute and a half going in the half. You're already down 21-0. They need to stop here so they can go into the locker room with something to hang their hat on. They hold Buford out here. They can count that as a small moral victory.
And, of course, on the other side, Dexter's thinking, hey, I got to get at least 3. There's Kyle Manley. On a 3rd and 8 for the Wolves. Ryan Wood in motion. Manley rolls left side, has a man. That is Brandon Clark. And Clark is tackled out of bounds near the 12-yard line.
Nice
stop by Rodney Coley.
Had Clark on a stop pattern right about the 15-yard line. His job is to get to a spot, turn, face his quarterback, giving him a clear target. They made the reception about a yard short of the first down.
Good play by Coley there on defense. So a 4th and 1, Mark Lassiter, and they're going for it. Manley, handoff straight up the middle. That's Alfonso Stanley, and I don't think he made it.
Stanley was stood up by Timothy Singleton of Americas. May not have made it the first time, but may have made it on that second surge. We'll see where this ball is spotted.
You see big number 58 also in the play there, Dion Small.
After the hit by Singleton, he was able to keep his legs moving, and on the spin, they may pick up the first down. And they're going to signal, yes it is, first down, Buford, right at the 10-yard line. Now this won't be a 1st and goal. This will be a 1st and 10 just outside the 10-yard line.
And Manley, just looking to kill the clock, slams the ball to the turf. Give a chance for the special teams to get in so they can get a quick 3 before the end of the half.
Now that 3 doesn't look big, but you go up 24-0, you force the other team into a 3-score plus situation.
The lefty in for the three-point try is Kevin Marks. Kevin's kick is up. Kevin's kick is good. So Buford goes up 24-0 over Americas.
You look at the sidelines celebrating. I think the Buford fans are probably in as much shock as the Americas sideline. They're up 21-0. Made the trip all the way down to the Dome on this gloomy day, and they're feeling very good about themselves. On the other hand, we get a look at Eric Soliday of Americas, who's got to be thinking, if I take this team into the locker room at halftime, what am I going to tell them to get this team back on track? This is a team that comes in with very gaudy numbers. We talked about at the top. They come in with over 3,000 yards rushing. They come in with a very crisp passing game, but so far they really haven't been able to get on track.
Set to kick it off for Buford is Brian Deskins. He's already had a busy afternoon. And kicks a swift that rolls out of bounds at the 14-yard line. So Americus will get the ball, 1st and 10, with just 5 seconds remaining in the first half.
If you're Americus, all you want to do is snap this one and get into the locker room and see if we can regroup.
There you see Coach Dexter Wood. I would imagine very pleased with the play of his kids.
Dexter Wood, before this game, talked about the idea of discipline. He's got to be proud of the way his team has played a team that matched up very well with his. Very few penalties, and what they've done is execute on offense.
All right, so since the ball was kicked out of bounds, the Americus Panthers get it 1st and 10 out the 35-yard line. One play, and that's it. Then we go to the half. Johnson in the shotgun. Slip to the right. Johnson looks right. Has a man on a short pass, and he's finally brought down by, pass was completed to Rashawn Robinson. That ends the first half. There you see the score. Buford 24, Americus nothing in the AA semifinal here at the Georgia Dome. So Mark, it's quite a game so far.
If there was one edge coming into this game that Americus might have had, that was one of experience coming in, but it turns on them as Buford goes up big. I keep looking at this 24-0 score and rubbing my eyes because coming in, we looked at the numbers, we looked at the individuals, they matched up very well. But as it stands, Buford, due to the first turnover kind of set the tone for their offense. Once they were able to score, as we get a look at Darius Walker going into the locker room for Buford, just turned on them.
And Walker had such a great first half. All right, let's go downstairs. Anthony White.
Okay, well, Coach Wood, you talked about setting the tone early. You guys are dominating this team.
Well, for us, it's all about defense and being able to run the football. And so far, we've been able to get some momentum in both those areas. We got some turnovers, and then we've got some good field position, and we're running the football. But I hope we didn't awake a sleeping giant here. We know that they're a great second-half team, and there's a long way to go. Fatigue factor is going to kick in, but we're playing well.
Okay, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Coach Dexter Wood, it's halftime. Buford leads it 24-0 over Americus. We'll have the halftime festivities right after this. And welcome back to the Georgia Dome, the AA's football semifinal. Halftime, Buford leads it 24-0. On the field right now is the Marching Band of Wolves. The band director, Wallace Conrad. The drum major is John Fowler. 56 members are a part of this band. And the performance today is the best of Ray Charles. marching band of Wolves. Let's go downstairs to Anthony White.
Okay, I'm here with Wallace Conrad of the Marching Wolves. Tell me, Mr. Conrad, how do your players feel about playing in the Georgia Dome today?
Our kids love playing in the Georgia Dome. This is our third year in a row for doing this, and they look forward to this as much as they do any other performance of the school year. It's really exciting for them.
Okay, what are some of the routines that we heard today?
Our show this year is the best of Ray Charles, including Georgia on My Mind, Hit the Road Jack, What I Say, and a little gospel version of America that Ray does at his concerts.
Okay, what has the school atmosphere been like coming into the Dome this week?
The school is on fire. My kids are on fire. They really want to win, and the school is just so behind our team and our band, and everybody's involved.
Okay, what does it take to put together a good quality band?
It takes years of preparation, starting in the 6th grade as a youngster, working with your middle school program, getting kids to be a part of it, and then each year we start in June, making sure we have our show together for the fall.
Well, thank you so much for having us today, Mr. Conrad. Back upstairs to you guys.
Thank you, Anthony. Halftime festivities roll on from the Georgia Dome to a semifinal. Buford leads it 24-0. And welcome back to the Georgia Dome. Halftime of the AA semifinal. As you see, Buford leads 24-0 here at the half in the battle of defending state champions. Of course, Buford from single A now moved up to AA, and Americus, the two-time defending AA champions. There's a look at the Marching Panther Band as they get ready to take the field here during halftime. The band director is Michael Thomas, and there you see they have 75 members in this band, and today they are going to play some music that salutes the Beatles. Marching Panther Band. Let's go downstairs to Anthony White.
Okay, I'm here with Michael Thomas, the America's Band Director. Welcome to the Georgia Dome.
Thank you very much.
You guys arrived kind of late. You had some problems getting here.
Yes, sir. On the way to the Georgia Dome, there was a real bad accident, and traffic was stopped up for miles, so it threw us back a good hour or so. So when we got in, we had to come straight to the sideline to do the show, so we hadn't warmed up or anything like that.
Okay, you talk about you guys haven't warmed up. You just kind of putting on an excellent performance.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Sometimes these pressure situations, when things happen, you just do the best you can and roll with the punches.
Okay, what was the school's atmosphere like this week going into this game?
Oh, it was real good. We have our finals this week, so we try not to disrupt the school day too much. But on yesterday, we had a send-off for the team and everything like that, so we got the whole school out of the building, and we played a few songs as the team left. So everything around the school was pretty vibrant. I mean, it was pretty nice.
Okay, what is some of the special, anything did you all do special to prepare for today?
Well, normally this time of year, the things that we run into, because we have more bands than just a marching band, so the thing that we run into this time of year is the preparation for our Christmas concert. So after our marching competition season, what we tried to focus on more than the halftime show was the Christmas stuff, and we had that last Tuesday, and it also went pretty well.
Okay, thanks for stopping by today, Mr. Thomas. Back upstairs with you guys.
All right, thanks, Anthony White. Great performance by the Marching Panther Band, and they did make a trip to get here, that's for sure. 75 members strong with their salute to the Beatles. And there's our halftime stats. And Mark Lassiter, what do you think of those numbers?
The key number is in that right-hand column. Go all the way down to turnovers. 3 turnovers for Americans. Buford has a clean slate so far, but you can see how that turnover reflects on time of possession. 14 minutes favoring Buford in that first half.
Yeah, rushing yards, 117 to 32, and 99 of those yards, of course, by Darius Walker on 13 carries. He had a touchdown in the first half, just a great first half. And, here's what did it, the turnovers, right there.
First play on offense for Americas. Buford takes over on the turnover, leads to the touchdown.
That's Alfonso Stanley scoring the touchdown, making it 7-0 Buford. Then Johnson runs into trouble again.
Second time, goes deep, ball tipped in the air. You can see the receiver running away from it, but going the other way is Buford on defense.
And that led to this play. Stanley scoring another touchdown. Stanley's second touchdown made it 21-0. Of course, I mentioned earlier, Darius Walker had scored a touchdown. And so there's your score, 24-0 as we get ready for the third quarter. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. It's the start of the third quarter of the AA football semifinal between Buford and Americus. And, of course, the Wolves have the 24-0 lead. Mark Lassiter, what did Coach Soliday say to his players in the half?
Coach Soliday talked about this being a rebuilding year for Americus coming in. If he had any challenge at half, was rebuilding the confidence of his team coming into this third quarter. Notice they were the first ones out for warm-up out of the halftime. What they've got to do is go back to what they've done to get here, which is throwing the ball more effectively. The first half, they had men open. They just weren't able to hook up between quarterback and wide receiver.
Now, of course, on the other side of the field, you had Dexter Wood in there with his Wolves. Now, you're up 24-0. What do you tell your players to keep them fired up?
You don't want to go too conservative. What you want to do is just say, keep hitting hard like you've been doing all day. He's got an excellent job out of his defensive backs and linebackers.
Buford up 24-0 as we begin the third quarter. And Buford will receive. Eddie Robertson will kick off for Americus.
The first challenge for Americus, Jim, make a stand and make a statement on defense on this first series.
Back deep, Sean Strickland, number 1, and number 16, Michael Henderson. This is Strickland at the 20. Strickland, 25-30. Strickland at the 35, 40. And finally brought down at the 43-yard line by Rodney Coley, number 21.
If you're Buford, you're feeling great about yourselves on that return. If you're Americus, you're all of a sudden playing defensively as Buford gets almost to midfield.
A 40-yard return sets up first down at the 43. Earlier today, single A semifinal, Clinch County wins it 36-0 over Hawkinsville. Lorenzo Kelsaw had 228 yards and 2 touchdowns. First and 10 for Buford. Manley hands off Darius Walker, and Walker still on his feet up to about the 49-yard line.
As Buford is playing with this huge lead, Jim, wouldn't be surprised to see America sneak its linebackers a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage to shut down the anticipated running game.
Games coming up later on. Dublin takes on Laney in the AAA game at 3. Then it's Marist and Thomas County Central. That ought to be a good one at 6 o'clock. And finally at 9 o'clock tonight, the 5A semifinal, Parkview and East Coweta. Second and 3 for Buford at the 49. Manley, handoff, Walker battles his way across the midfield stripe and stopped by a good America's defense.
Let's mark this one, Jim, in the books as the first statement opportunity for the America's defense. Right out of the locker room, third quarter. Here's a 3rd and 3 coming up. You get a stop here, you give your offense the ball.
There you see Darius Walker, 15 carries, 106 on the day, and a touchdown. And he gets the toss in the backfield and takes it to about the 48 of America's. Stopped by big number 77, Cedric Boone.
I think he's going to be short of the first down, so America's accomplishes what they wanted to out of the locker room. We'll see where they actually spot the ball. Looks like it will be marked at about a 4th, and I'd say about a half yard for the first down. Got a flag also against Buford.
So we'll have to march backwards for the Wolves. And Manley, in the meantime, went to the sidelines to talk to head coach Dexter Wood to find out what to run.
Giving motion by the offense. 5 yards.
There's the call by there's the call by referee Gene McLeod. So Buford has it at their own 45-yard line.
Watch number 7. He's the deep man in the eye. That's Darius Walker.
On a 3rd and 8, Kyle Manley, your quarterback for Buford. And the handoff, Darius Walker straight up the middle. Walker to the 45, 40. Walker could go all the way. 20, 10-yard line, and push and into the end zone. It looks like he was pushed. Touchdown.
Bye-bye, baby. Darius Walker takes the handoff. Once he gets past the 40-yard line, there's no catching him once he hits the corner. Had enough left in the tank to go all the way, and Buford answers the America statement with one of its own.
Darius Walker, a 55-yard touchdown run, and Kevin Marks is on to attempt the extra point.
That was a play designed for a first down. They got a little bit more.
And the kick by Marks is good. So Buford has taken a 31-0 lead over Americus. And here's the replay, Mark Lassiter.
Darius Walker from ground level coming right at you. Once he gets to the sideline, there's no catching him because the Americus defensive backfield doesn't have the speed. There's contact about the 10, but he has enough forward lean to get to the end zone.
Here it is one more time. Boy, he knows how to find the holes.
Walker did a nice thing changing hands with the ball, getting the ball to the outside, away from any potential contact. And now it's a foot race. There's the push. And the touchdown.
And just in case you want to see it from one more angle,
here's the hat trick.
I tell you, it looks good no matter which way you look at it.
Well, it looks good to Darius because there's no one else to screen but him. Takes a dive. I didn't see the celebration as he did on the previous touchdown, though.
I tell you, our guys have every angle covered here at the Georgia Dome. And the kick goes out of bounds, so that means Americus will take over 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. And there's your scoring drive for the Buford Wolves. 3 plays, 57 yards. Of course, 55 coming on the run by Walker to make it 31-0 Buford. Of course, there's the numbers for Walker on the day. 16 for 161 yards.
Darius Walker
on the 35 by the receivers.
He's in that zone early in the 3rd quarter. That's usually the spot when you have 161 yards. You take the pads off and put a T-shirt on.
We saw Coach Soliday on the sidelines, and the important point is Anthony White brought up before. What is he thinking right now? He hasn't been behind all year long. Here's Johnson, first and 10 at the 35. And the handoff up the middle to Michael Terry. And Terry maybe gains a yard and is stopped on the play by number 33, Thor Merrow. And number 57 looks like he's hurt for Buford.
When you break it all down, Jim, this game is really supposed to be fun, and there is no more fun time for a defense than playing with a big lead after the last tackle. You could see Zach Smith just pop up and pump his fist and say, come on, bring some more this way.
The offensive guard, the linebacker hurt on that play was number 57, Drew White. He's off the field. So it's 2nd down and 8 for Americus. Cedric Johnson from the shotgun, rolls left, fires, and it's incomplete. Intended for his favorite receiver, number 9, Jermaine Allen.
Had a man once again about 2 yards shy of the first down marker, but as the receiver is turning, the ball delivered on the money, just wasn't caught.
And a good defensive play, as you see right here. Michael Henderson ready to go in case Jermaine catches that football.
Ball is hits right on the inside of his elbow for the incompletion, but again, through no fault of the offense of Americus, the receivers just haven't been catching the ball. 1 of 12.
Cedric Johnson's numbers on the day, and with hopes of improving here in the second half. Johnson from the shotgun again, fires left side, incomplete again. The pass thrown over the head of number 9, Jermaine Allen.
That was just simply overthrown as Sean Strickland gets in a few words after the last incompletion as the Americas sideline tries to figure out and get its team settled down, but they'll be forced into a punt formation once again.
So it'll be 4th and 8, and as you said, they will punt it away. Stephen Gordon comes on the field for Americus to kick it away. And Michael Henderson is back deep for Buford near his own 35-yard line. High snap. Gordon gets it away. And Henderson takes it on one bounce. Henderson to the 30. We have flags down on the field. 35, 40. And knocked out at about the 42-yard line. By the way, if you are enjoying GHSA football live from the Georgia Dome, show your appreciation by becoming a member of GPTV. Log on to our website at www.gpb.org. It's easy, totally secure, and only takes 2 minutes. That's www.gpb.org. Thanks for supporting high school sports on GPTV.
On that last play, Jim, you're going to catch Brandon Clark of Buford with just a push in the back on the last return. Here's the play call.
Illegal block to the back by the receiving team on the move. 10 yards, 1st and 10.
Funny thing about that last return, Clark actually had decent position on his man, but just a little nudge gave him that penalty, just a nudge. You know, sometimes it's not those big penalties. Buford inside its own 20.
That's right, at the 19-yard line, and that's where Kyle Manley takes it, 1st and 10 for the Wolves. Manley, and the handoff right side to number 9, Blake Skipper.
I would be very surprised if Buford threw another pass anytime soon. All they want to do now, looking up at that clock, which reads 9 minutes to go in the third, run some clock, stay inside the hash marks, and keep it running.
There you see the Wolves break out of the huddle. Kyle Manley, the quarterback, and he pitches right side, and that's Ashley Griffin on the carry, the senior tailback.
Ashley Griffin getting some playing time as they give the other back, Darius Walker, a blow after his successful afternoon. Manley wears number 5.
That's exciting for these kids to play at the Georgia Dome. Any chance they get.
My mistake, Manley wears number 11. That's the quarterback. Griffin's number 5.
There you see big number 77, Joseph Ward, leading the team to the line of scrimmage. Manley at quarterback for Buford on 3rd and 7, and the handoff straight up the middle. That's Darius Walker back in the game, and he picks up a couple of yards.
What Americus needs, Jim, on this next exchange is a big play someplace. They either need a big return or a pass play that will help this attack get somewhat on track, which has been just out of sync all afternoon.
So Buford will punt it away. And just getting the kick off is number 41, Brian Deskins. And it goes out of bounds, and Americus will take over. 1st and 10, looks to be just short of the 40-yard line.
Jonathan Reese, that last punt for Americus, made an excellent rush. Goes to the sideline. They came very close to blocking that one. Again, their special teams will have to be relied on if they have any thought of getting back in this game down 31-0.
There you see the coach, Coach Soliday of Americus. So 1st down for his Panthers. They begin from their own 39-yard line. Cedric Johnson, your quarterback, stands 5'10", 170. And the handoff up the middle. That's Michael Terry. And Terry picks up about 6, stopped by number 56, Trey Chandler.
Down 31-0. It is never too early to think about clock management. Americus might be better served to think about either a no-huddle or a hurry-up type of offense to take full advantage of the time remaining in this game.
So a second, we'll call it 3 at the 47. And a fake handoff, and on the option play, Johnson is brought down by Jakira Millsap, number 3. Good play by Millsap.
Millsap has had an excellent game this afternoon. Been effective in pass coverage, and now coming up pressing with the run. Ball bounced off the turf there, a little basketball dribble. Got to the outside, but Millsap with the hit. Like when he has his face mask taped up. Some guys try to lend a little individuality. Look at that face mask. Like that.
A 3rd and 6 now for Americus at their own 44-yard line. Johnson inside handoff again, goes to Michael Terry. And Terry takes it to about the 49-yard line, it's close to a 1st down, stopped by number 56, Trey Chandler.
Judging by the mark, Jim, which is right below us, this ball is going to be spotted about a half a foot short of the 1st down, so a mandatory 4th and short call coming up from Americus.
There you see the Americus sideline. So a 4th and 1, they have to go for it at this point. Johnson under center. And the handoff left side, Michael Terry, he's got the 1st down.
Very close. Very close, because Buford had the surge. Skipper Blake was right there to make the tackle. He wears number 9, and if not for the second surge, Buford may have had a stop. But the second surge, watch the handoff. Here's the hit, and the surge, the second surge, it gets the 1st down.
What a battle in the trenches going on here. So Americus comes to the line with a 1st and 10 at the Buford 49. Cedric Johnson, the quarterback. Fires right side, has a man. And the pass is complete to number 10, LaShawn Robinson.
They got one. They completed the pass, and the American sideline goes wild.
And the stop by number 20, Von Benag for Buford.
You want to see a great standoff. Watch Benag, after the reception, just stops in perfect position to break down and make a tackle. Here's the catch. Now watch Benag come to the receiver and stop right here. Come on.
Good one-on-one action there. 1st and 10 for Americus at the Buford 37. And we have a flag on the play.
Americus just now getting into some offensive rhythm. Might not be a bad spot to go deep.
Maybe surprise Buford.
They're going to bring this one back due to motion as Cedric Johnson gets some last-minute instructions.
Ball, don't start on the offense, 5 yards, 1st down.
So the ball is marked now at the 42-yard line for Americus. And it's a 1st and 15. Johnson, the handoff to Terry. He picks up a couple of yards left side. Brought down by number 60 of Buford. That's Ian Merrow.
Clock running. We're under 4 minutes
when this next play is started. That's in the third quarter. America shuffling players in and out of the lineup, trying to get some outside speed. Stephen Gordon, I should say, wide receiver, he's going to be lined up to the far side right.
You see under 4 minutes to go, third quarter, so Americus really needs to get on the board, Mike.
America's trying to spread its formation. The only downside is as the referees are sorting things out at the 40-yard line, Buford's getting a long look at this next offensive formation. We'll sort this one out. Maybe some discrepancy in the play clock.
Will the clock operator add 30 seconds to the playing clock? 30 seconds added to the playing clock. Thank you.
Okay, so we're on the dome clock at 3:50. You add 30 seconds. What is that?
4:20.
That was a close one.
Am I quick or what?
You're good. You're good.
Of course, it helps to have it on the screen too, right? So Americus with the ball at the 41-yard line. There's your quarterback, Cedric Johnson, in the shotgun. Johnson looks downfield now at the quarterback draw. There goes Johnson on the run, and finally steps out of bounds around the 31-yard line.
I take back what I said about Americus going deep because Buford is playing a very deep zone, preventing any kind of time for the receivers to get deep in that backfield. So the quarterback for Americus just takes it. Cedric Johnson.
Yep.
Picks up about 5, brings up a third, and about 5 to go.
There you see another angle of it.
Americus really doesn't want running plays.
So here it is, 3rd and 5 at the 32-yard line. Quarterback draw again. Johnson on the keeper, gets to about the 27-yard line, stopped by big number 64, Neil Brown.
Now this will be a curious spot because he got spun at the last minute and looks like they're going to mark this one shy of a first down. His forward motion, you'll see the replay from ground level. Watch the forward motion after the hit. He spun and then hit a second time, which pushes him back just enough to bring him up short of that first down.
So it is 4th and 1 for Americus. And obviously have to go for it at this point. Handoff, Michael Terry, and it looks like he has the first down for the Panthers on a second effort.
And credit that second effort running through the tackle of Shakira Millsap, a name we've called again and again. Millsap has contact, but a good job by the running back of Americus picks up the first down.
Michael Terry, over 2,200 yards on the season and 31 touchdowns.
If there's any trait that separates the better backs, it's the ability to get away or break that first tackle.
Cedric Johnson, of course, is your quarterback. They have that at 25, 1st and 10. Johnson takes handoff, Terry rolls right, looks right, now starts to run with the ball and is in trouble.
He's in big trouble. And there's a flag down at the 25-yard line.
And the main stop was by number 33, Thor Merrow. And then finally, big number 64, Neil Brown, said, okay, that's enough.
Johnson actually had thoughts of splitting 2 defenders, but Buford had too much speed and too much position to allow him to get upfield. Did the smart thing. He had also a thought of throwing that ball at the last minute, but pulled it back. And we're going to also have another motion flag against Americus. Watch the fake handoff inside, trying to get a little play action going. Now he's rolling. He sees 2 players, tries to split. Oh, one has a hand on. Now he thinks about throwing it. Thinks better of it.
Thor Merrow had his jersey, and then just in time for Neil Brown to grab him. And then the whistles and flag was thrown.
The Merrow brothers have been extremely effective on defense.
So 1st and 15 at the 30-yard line for Americus. Johnson calling an audible. Looks right, fires, intercepted. intercepted by number 1, Sean Strickland, and Strickland could go all the way. He's at the 30, the 20. Sean Strickland on the interception scores the touchdown for Buford. 72 yards on the play.
Well, let's hold the phone just a minute. There's a flag all the way back at the 35-yard line as Buford celebrates in the end zone. They were trying to go deep. Americus to John Tavian Jackson. Jackson was running a skinny post at about the 20-yard line. Ball was picked off and brought all the way back the other way. We'll sort it out. This one's coming back. We're going to have a clip.
And it's going against the Wolves.
So this will give Buford the ball. They'll mark it off as we assume that that clip was after the exchange. America's just unable to get anything going in his passing game.
After change of possession, illegal block by the defense, 15 yards.
Referee Gene McLeod had to make that long walk all the way back. He's trying to catch some oxygen there.
The difference in this game, Jim, the defensive backs for Buford have been extremely active. Anytime that Americus has had thoughts of going anything beyond a short pass, they've been right there as they were on this last interception. Look at the convoy as you see the Buford players change from defense to offense and get down the sideline.
Good blocking downfield as well. 1st and 10 for Buford at the 20. Manley with the handoff to Zach Smith. And Smith picks up about 5 yards on 1st down. And there's a happy group. Nothing like coming to the Dome, supporting your team, and then watch them take a 31-0 lead.
It's an interesting point for all these teams. This game today and tomorrow symbolizes kind of their Super Bowl. They're playing inside. They're in front of, they're in the big house this weekend.
Take a look at those numbers. Pretty much tells the story. Manley pitches right side. That's Darius Walker. Walker breaks the tackle. He's at the 30. Walker still on his feet. Up to about the 35-yard line. A good run by Darius Walker. The stop by number 34, Eddie Robertson.
You got to give him style points for the 360 right at the 30-yard line and added another 5 yards onto the run. Watch Walker from ground level. You're going to love this one. Takes the handoff, sees contact, whoop, right there. I'm gone.
Good run by Walker. Darius Walker has 172 yards on the day. What a day for Darius Walker. You'll never forget this one, Mark. 1st and 10 for Buford at the 36. On the handoff to Alfonso Stanley, and he's met at the line of scrimmage immediately by a number of America's players. Let's talk, including number 58, Dion Small.
Let's talk about Darius Walker for a second then. He comes into this game with 1,436 yards, 20 touchdowns, but my favorite part, the 9.3-yard average.
Alfonso Stanley slow getting up and heads to the sidelines. There's your Darius Walker.
The straight-A student in the backfield.
Well, I tell you what, that means a lot, too. Good balance. Great ball player and does well in the classroom. Darius Walker takes the pitch left side. Here's Walker across the 40, 45, and knocked out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. Tackle made by Tony Moran and also knocked out of bounds by Rodney Coley.
Walker has another skill, Jim, that he has more than one gear. Takes the pitch, changes hands instinctively, gets to the sideline. He's only breaking it down in second. If he was able to turn the corner, that's when he kicks it into that second gear, but just comes to the sideline.
And there you see the semifinal matchups. The winner of this one will play the winner of Greater Atlanta Christian and Early County. Interesting note here, GAC and Buford come from the same region. GAC's only loss was against Buford. Early County's only loss in Region 1 at AA was against Americus. And of course that will be the state championship, the winner of today's game and the winner of tomorrow's semifinal next weekend. And that should be a good one. Zach Smith on the carry for Buford. There you see time running out in the third quarter. So your score, Buford 31, Americus nothing. Fourth quarter coming up after this. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome and the start of the fourth quarter. Buford leading Americus 31-0. Some very happy Buford fans. You notice the players holding up four fingers, Mark Lassiter, at the end of the third quarter. You know what that means.
That generally symbolizes let's go all out in the fourth quarter. Last week, Dexter Wood said we've never been in a fourth quarter game. They said his kids responded to it. They made the plays today.
So the Wolves have it at the Americas 48-yard line. A 2nd and 5 for quarterback Kyle Manley. Manley, handoff up the middle. Who else? Darius Walker. And Walker picks up about 4 or 5 yards. Stopped by the Moses twins, Chan Moses and Chad Moses, number 46 and number 43.
Walker's only listed at 185, but he is a load to bring down on that last surge inside. He's still pushing and fighting for extra yards. Brings up this 3rd and inside of a yard call.
Here's your 3rd down conversions. Buford one better than Americus. Here's a 3rd and 1 for Kyle Manley. And the handoff left side, that's Zach Smith. And it looks like Zach has the first down for the Wolves.
Give it to the big guy to get the work done. Nothing fancy by Smith, just puts his pads north-south and picks up the first down.
Brought down by number 51, Derek Wolcott. Coming up right after this one, it's the AAA semifinal. The Dublin Fighting Irish make the trip north with a 13-0 record to take on the Laney Wildcats, who come in at 12-1. That's the AAA semifinal coming up next right here on GPTV. 1st and 10 for Buford at the 42 of Americus. And the handoff to Darius Walker again, and Walker gets inside the 40-yard line. Tackle made by number 51, Derek Wolcott.
Funny thing about Walker, he goes into the pile and comes out the other side. Has such forward lean. From this angle, you can see him be hit at about the 41. He comes out of the pile at the 39.
You bet he's holding on to that football.
Got those eyes, as you can see the replay. Any decent running back has great vision, and Walker has exhibited that this afternoon.
2nd and 7 at the 39-yard line for Buford. Manley, the pitch to Walker. And Walker gets inside the 35-yard line.
Walker training into the workhorse in the fourth quarter, getting the bulk of the play calls. Takes that mouthpiece out to get a little extra oxygen. You see some players take the mouthpiece out, tuck it in the face mask. You see some, he has his on a string. But in order to get that extra blow, get that mouthpiece out.
What a day for Darius Walker. 22 carries, 194 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 3rd and 3 for Buford. And got an offsides call, probably coming up against Americus.
Darius Walker just puts his hands on hips after that last call. He's thankful for one thing. I got another 20 seconds in between plays.
Michael Terry jumps offside for Americus, so that'll move the ball 5 yards.
Encroaching by the defense, 5 yards, first down.
With this game, Darius Walker is approaching 3,000 yards for his career at Buford.
Coach Soliday is just, I would say, surprised. 1st and 10 at the 30 for Buford. And it's Walker again. Walker to the 25. Look at the spin move. Gets down to about the 22. Finally brought down by number 21, Rodney Coley.
I'd like to go to a party with Darius Walker because you can see the footwork on the spin, keeps him moving. You got to think that when he goes out on a Saturday night, he gives them some on the dance floor. Here's the handoff. Watch the spin. Now watch the feet keep moving. There he goes.
Good run by Darius Walker.
Got that chin strap with the extra sweatband on the chin strap to help cushion the blow.
So Buford at the Americas 22 on a 2nd and 2. And the handoff to Alphonso Stanley, who's back in the game. Good to see him back. Sorry, check that. That's Blake Skipper. Stanley still on the sideline.
Buford doing exactly what it wants to do. 8 minutes and counting once they get the yard markers reset. They're just burning clock and confident to keep the ball inside the tackles. Americas, on the other hand, is just playing for a pride stop right in through here. They're really out of this game in terms of winning on the scoreboard. But their defense has got to be thinking, let's see if we can just stop one time here, guys.
On 1st and 10. And the pitch goes to Walker again. He tries the right side this time to the 20, 15, and finally brought down by number 10. That's Rashawn Robinson.
You got to love Darius Walker. After the run is over, he puts his hands on his hips. He looks like he's exhausted. He takes the mouthpiece out. He puts his head down. He's, boy, I'm worn out. You give him the ball, and this is what happens. He gets to the sideline and picks up 7-yard chunks.
Right into your living room.
Going to sort the flag out.
By the way, I mentioned Alphonso Stanley went off the field before. His shoulder pads are off, so he's done for the day. As head coach Dexter Wood decides, okay, well, let's just rest him and get ready for the championship game next weekend.
You got to be thinking long term if you're Buford.
Personal foul on the defense. First down.
Get Darius Walker in the huff. He's still got his hands on hips. Now he's bent over like he is just headed for the afternoon. But I'll tell you one thing, if they give him the ball, he's going to wind up close to the end zone.
Now a timeout taken by Buford. So the Wolves take a timeout. If you are enjoying GHSA football live from the Georgia Dome, show your appreciation by becoming a member of GPTV. Log on to our website at www.gpb.org. It's easy, totally secure, and only takes 2 minutes. That's www.gpb.org. And thanks for supporting high school sports on GPTV. Let's go downstairs to Anthony White.
Okay, hey, I'm standing here with Mac McCoy, the principal for Buford High School. Mr. McCoy, you all have to be excited today.
I can't believe what's happened right now. We were hoping to come into this game and keep it close going into the 4th quarter. Our boys felt like, the coaching staff felt like if we could stay with them and get to the 4th quarter, we had an opportunity to at least not embarrass ourselves. This is fantastic.
Okay, what was the school's atmosphere like going into this week?
Very businesslike. Our kids were focused. Of course, as a school, we're getting ready for exams, and that's always tough to get ready for exams and going into the state playoffs. But business as usual and staying focused on Americas.
Okay, well, Ms. McCoy, you're one step away from adding another ring to your finger. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Anthony White. 1st and 5 for Buford. Here's Manley. And the pitch to Walker, and Walker is brought down about the 2-yard line mark. I thought he was going in.
Took a shot by Dustin Walcott, who had him out of the 3-yard line. Walcott just lowered the shoulder into him. Walker takes the punishment. Here's the pitch. Watch the contact right there. But Walker keeps pumping and moving forward. Ground level. One more time. The pitch and the hit.
You can see big number 75. Warren Gooden stepping in to make sure that Walker is stopped short of the goal line. Second and goal for Buford. And there's the handoff to Zach Smith, and Smith is in from a couple of yards out. So Zach Smith makes it a 37-0 ball game for the Buford Wolves. And Kevin Marks will come on the field to attempt the extra point.
Now, Jim, you know I'm no mathematician, but outside of Pierce County, Buford has outscored 3 opponents 113-0.
You sound like a mathematician to me. And the kick is good. And Buford now takes a 38-0 lead over Americus.
Is there a mercy rule at this level of high school play? Because you could at some point just say, enough. As Buford, as you watch the replay, just walks into the end zone for another score.
You know, I'll tell you, when I talked to Dexter Wood, as you see the replay again, earlier this week, he was heading up to Athens to take his team up to the practice field up there where they have carpet. And you know what? I think that practice up there really paid off.
One of the keys playing 5 games in one day. We'll talk about this again, I'm sure. The preparation, because both teams only have a half hour to warm up.
There's your scoring drive for the Buford Wolves. Excuse me, Mark. It's 14 plays, 69 yards, and the more important, took off 7.5 minutes of time off the clock.
Just to complete that point, the key to a lot of these semifinal games will be the team that is first to get on track and get in sync, maybe the first, have a significant advantage.
Ryan Deskins to kick it off. It's a squib and fielded at the 40-yard line by number 30, Navaris Young. So that's where Americus will take over 1st and 10. So you go to Athens, you practice on the carpet for a couple of days, and then you're ready to go at the Georgia Dome. Smart move by the coach.
Smart move, but they've got to be thinking, okay, we've done the hard part. We beat the team that we matched up very well against. They came in with a very humble approach, but they lead up 38-0.
For Coach Soliday and the Panthers, it's been a tough day. Of course, as we mentioned off the top of the show, they are 42-1 since the beginning of the 2000 season. So they've had a great campaign here in 2002. And they, that's Michael Terry with the ball for Americus. And the stop by Von Benag, number 20 for Buford.
We're approaching 6 minutes, 30 seconds to go in this ball game. Americus would like nothing more than to at least put something on the scoreboard other than this bagel.
1st and 10 for Americus at the Buford 49-yard line. And here's Terry again. Terry straight up the middle. And Terry gets inside the 35-yard line, finally brought down by number 20, Von Benag again.
Got a bit of a rise out of the faithful here from Americus, Georgia, sitting on the near side right below us. They now go to a no huddle.
Good run by Terry. Shotgun, and Johnson sees a wide open receiver. That is Stephen Gordon, and Gordon is in.
Americus taking advantage of Buford, not set on defense, find the receiver on the far sideline, and they pick up the score.
Smart play by Johnson. So Stephen Gordon on the receiving end of a touchdown pass. Of course, you heard us mention his name earlier. He's also the punter on the team. And now I think they're going to go for 2. Yes, they are. The Panthers are going for 2, and here's Johnson under center. And the handoff left side. This is Terry. And Terry is stopped by a whole bunch of Wolves, led by number 9, Blake Skipper.
Well, at least they made it interesting. They get on the scoreboard.
So, yeah, now it's 38-6 Buford.
Piece of cake. 3 more touchdowns and they're right back in this thing.
6:10 to go here in the 4th quarter. Big day of football here at the Georgia Dome. This is only the 2nd of 5 games to be played. And then, of course, 5 more tomorrow right here on GPTV. And there's the reception again by Stephen Gordon.
Last player
tripped up, but he finally gets it in.
Michael Henderson, last player. Henderson's not within 15 yards when that ball is in the air. Stephen Gordon may have been looking around just saying, can the ball get here fast enough? Because there's no one in coverage.
And, of course, just a couple of plays covering 60 yards and the 32-yard touchdown reception by Gordon. 38-6, Buford. And I believe Coach Soliday is probably going to try and get a couple of players into this ball game before it's over. Get some of the juniors and sophomores in. Eddie Robertson is set to kick it off for Americus. Back deep is number 1, Sean Strickland, and number 16, Michael Henderson for Buford.
Not a bad spot if you're thinking onside kick, because Buford is in its standard kick return formation, even though they don't have anyone deeper than the 20-yard line.
They had a squib, and it bounces off one of the Buford players. Bounced off number 85, Philip Smith. And it looks like Buford will keep the ball.
America's tried to come with the line drive, semi-onside kick. As you get a look at the replay, it hits a player from Buford, bounces right between the wickets. He can't make the first recovery, but the second man comes in and makes the recovery of the muff attempt.
And that's number 33, Theo Murrow, who was on it right away after the ball hit number 5, Ashley Griffin. 1st and 10 for Buford at the 37. And a big hit by number 75. That's Warren Gooden.
One of the few hits we've been able to hear actually up in the booth. The handoff comes simultaneous with the contact from Gooden.
Now at quarterback, by the way, for Buford is Jakir Millsap, number 3, the junior.
So Millsap does it all. He's a free safety. He backs up at quarterback.
2nd and 13. Millsap. The pitch to number 5, Ashley Griffin. And Griffin is brought down by number 50, Dustin Wolcott.
What you notice about the Buford running backs is that little burst that gets them to the point of contact and just a hair away sometimes from breaking the big play.
There's a good shot at Millsap.
He of the decorative face mask. Kind of reminds you of one of those Halloween jack-o'-lanterns that you see.
Under 5 minutes to go in the final quarter of the AA semifinal between Buford and Americus. 3rd and 9. And the handoff straight up the middle to Ashley Griffin. And Griffin is brought down by a sea of Panthers.
If you're Buford at this point in the game, the only thing you want is not get anyone hurt, as we're at 4:20 and counting in this ball game.
So 4th and 8. And on to punt it away is Brian Deskins. And on the receiving end is number 21, Rodney Coley. Coley takes it at the 20, stumbles, and is finally, no, not brought down. Now he's brought down at the 22-yard line by number 9, Blake Skipper of Buford.
Nice job on the return by Coley, but one other factor I was looking at, Darius Walker's the up man on the punt.
Coming up, the AAA semifinal, Dublin and Laney, the Fighting Irish and the Wildcats. That's all at 3 o'clock Eastern Time right here on GPTV. Then at 6 o'clock tonight, the 4A semifinal, Marist and Thomas County Central. For some reason, the Yellow Jackets have always had Marist's number when it comes to these games. And then finally at 9 o'clock tonight, Parkview looking for a three-peat takes on East Coweta in the semifinal. Now we have a stoppage in play with just under 4 minutes to go in the final quarter. And now Americus will start it at their own 22-yard line. Cedric Johnson still your quarterback. Two-step drop, and the pass incomplete. Intended for number 9, Jermaine Allen.
Trying to throw that deep fade once again, this time to the near sideline, right in front of the Americas bench. But credit the coverage of Buford once again, preventing that completion.
Second and 10 for Americas. Johnson in the shotgun. Hand off, Michael Terry. Terry, right side to the 35-40. Michael Terry could go all the way. He's at the 40. Michael Terry at the 10. Michael Terry, touchdown. 77-yard touchdown run by Michael Terry. And Americas is on the board again.
And when they look at game film during the week, the coaches are going to let Michael Henderson, the deep safety, hear an earful, because Henderson was lined up to the near side with deep responsibility and just a little bit sluggish getting to the far side of the field.
And I believe Americas will go for 2 here, as Johnson still on the field for the Panthers. Johnson steps back, now goes into the shotgun on the 2-point conversion. Johnson takes the snap, runs left side, and does not make it. Did you hear the hitting going on there?
That was a helmet-to-helmet special, as both players are a little bit slow getting up, and the Buford defender is still down. We'll check the number.
And it's number 1, Sean Strickland.
He got the lick in, but may have taken the worst of the punishment. Still a little bit woozy. It's one of those times you hold up 2 fingers, you say, how many fingers do I have up? And he says Tuesday.
Here's that replay of the 77-yard touchdown run by Michael Terry. And once he saw that opening mark, he was gone.
Excellent speed once he got to the far sideline, as you mentioned. Another look at it from ground level. He hits the corner. Nice little balance and adjustment. Changes into that low gear. Takes it all the way to the house.
Michael Terry, what a day. Even though Americas is down 38-12. Here's the real sound on the 2-point conversion as we talked about that hit. Boy. And we did hear it all the way up here.
Nice job down on the field by the sound guys. You could also hear that little ooh at the ground level after the hit was made.
And of course, there's the scoring drive. 1 play, 77 yards for Terry. And Terry has 138 yards on the day for Americas. 38-12. And it looks as though number 77, Cedric Boone, is going to do this onside kick. Some of the students from Coosa High helping us with the sound on the sidelines there, and doing an excellent job, especially after that last replay. That was living proof. All right, here we go. Number 77, Cedric Boone at 6'3", 315 is going to kick this onside kick. Here it is. And it's taken by number 1 of Buford, and that's Sean Strickland. And Strickland takes it inside the 35-yard line where Buford starts 1st and 10.
Boone got what he wanted, which is that infamous 3rd hop on the onside kick. But unfortunately, it popped up right in the hands of Sean Strickland. Watch the 2nd hop, the 3rd hop. You get the one, and it's the big one. That's the one you want right there. But Strickland takes it the other way.
Strickland, Johnny on the spot. And Buford has it 1st and 10.
What is it about a football that makes it pop up on the 3rd hop? Somebody has to do a study on that one.
Maybe we can do a feature on Prep Sports Plus next year.
Get a research grant or something.
There's Manley back in at quarterback. And the handoff to number 9, Blake Skipper. Skipper couldn't turn the corner on the left side against the Americas defense.
But you'll notice that on every onside kick, it's that 3rd hop. It pops straight up in the air. Must be the way the ball is shaped, where that point hits and it just pops up.
Just never know where that thing's going to go.
I like Cedric Boone on the kick.
Buford at the Americas 33-yard line. Here's Manley. And the handoff. And this is Ashley Griffin. And a great tackle made by number 3, Charles Smith of Americas.
That's how they draw it up in the football book. You get low, you square your shoulders, and you deliver the punishment. Watch the hit. Right there. And you lift. Always the lift.
Always the lift. Get him off his feet, and he's going down. Under 2.5 to go, final quarter. On 3rd and 5. Manley. And the pitch to number 5. And that's Ashley Griffin. And Griffin gets down near the 20-yard line.
I will say this about Americas. They may be down on the scoreboard, but they have delivered some shots here in the 4th quarter. This defense is hitting people with a mission.
Well, they should hold their heads up high because they've had a very, very successful season.
And if this is, in fact, a rebuilding year, in the coach's words, Eric Soliday, I'd be very afraid to meet this team next season when they reload.
Two-time defending champs trailing by 26 points. Manley. And the handoff.
Another hit.
And that's Drew Camp.
My goodness. And, you know, the guys are just coming with everything they have on Americas. Last one up is number 17, Tim Moore. Now, here's a shot. Here's the handoff.
Boom.
Right there.
Derek Wolcott.
Actually got it on the last part of that, but there were 3 players for Americas in on that last, and I use this word very generously, hit.
Big day for Derek Wolcott and his brother Dustin Wolcott. And now they're just going to look to down the ball with under a minute to go on a 2nd and 10. So they're going to let that clock run. One more play, and that's it, Mark Lassiter. Coming up. So now the AA semifinal picture looks like this. Buford goes on to the state championship, beating Americas. They'll face the winner of tomorrow's semifinal between Greater Atlanta Christian and Early County. The Spartans and the Bobcats tomorrow right here on GPTV. That's going to be a good one.
Nice scene on the near sideline as the American supporters are giving their team a standing ovation.
And Manley downs the ball, and the clock will run out. And there you have it. Buford wins it over Americas 38-12. Mark, definitely a surprise.
Not what we expected, but as they say, that's why they play the games. Buford taking full advantage of early Americas turnovers, using its defensive backs to key a very forceful offensive surge by this team. Wins big and goes to the state championship next week. But Americas, I have to give them credit. They played from end to end. Saw some of the most vicious hitting in that 4th quarter by the Americas defense, so give them credit for playing from whistle to whistle.
And we had the sound effects for you thanks to the kids at Coosa High School. Great job down there on the sidelines by the students. Coming up next, it's the AAA semifinal. The Dublin Fighting Irish come in unbeaten at 13-0 to take on the Laney Wildcats. That's all coming your way right here on GPTV, live from the Georgia Dome. Mark Lassiter, it's been fun. We're up next with that AAA game. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Final score once again, Buford 38, Americas 12.
This broadcast of the 2002 GHSA football semifinals has been provided in part by IBEW Local 613, Georgia Electric Membership Corporations, South Trust Bank, Dodge, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, and by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.